Hi. Hi, it's Rosie from RoseByNameCo. Thank you for coming by again to check out what I have new as far as my journals go. I did just complete a journal called Black Beauty. It is about the horse, of course, that we all know and love, Black Beauty, written by Anna Sewell a long time ago, in the 1800s or so. And she did write a story about a young colt, Black Beauty, in his own words. Actually, the story goes on as far as the horse is telling us what life is like in his own words. As he goes, it's an autobiography of his life. So this is a 9x6 journal. It is a rather thick journal. It does have a 3-inch spine and 4 signatures, about 160 pages. It does have lots of inserts, and it does have the story about Black Beauty inside as well. As far as I could tell it, I did not do anything different. It is the actual story of that horse, and I did enjoy making this one. It is a custom order that I was requested to do, and hopefully the owner will enjoy it, looking at it, as well as adding her own collection into it and her own thoughts about the story of Black Beauty. We do have a tassel here as well that I made, quite a thick one, just to maybe represent the horse's mane. And inside there is a charm of a horse, rather large one. It's beautiful, actually. And it is on a chain here. Otherwise, we do have some twine and some eyelash ribbon and muslin and so on, different colors here. So here we do have the ribbon and 2 different kinds, and as well some upholstery fabric here that I put underneath the muslin, and the picture of the horse. And then here is a little crochet wreath that my mother does. She gave me this one to put on this beautiful black fabric that will go with Black Beauty. Of course, it does have corners here. So on the side here, we do have the closure, which is a sewn-in muslin ribbon. We also have more charms over here, very beautiful ones as well, more horses, and lots of ribbon and some beads and so on. In the back, I did leave it plain black. It is shiny like the horse's skin or hide, so mostly all black. On the bottom, I left all the sewing tails because everything really reminded me of Black Beauty's tail. So I did leave it quite long, actually, just to remind us all the time of the beauty of the horse. And on the top, we have lots of fluff in different colors. And I did also leave some sewing tails here as well. And we have some cheesecloth here on the side too, where the book meets the spine. So inside here, we do have a lot of pages to go through. We do have on the first page this beautiful charm that I just showed you, but I want to show you a little bit more up close, of a mother and her colt. Very beautiful. I found it in Etsy. It came in a pack of a few, and I knew that it belonged in this journal. So in the front pocket is a tag that I will use to write a message, which I already did, to the person who bought the journal. So it is a sold custom order, as I mentioned, and it is being packed off and going in a few days. So this is fabric that I used to go with the bag that comes with the journal as a gift. And here, yes, we do have a little bit of sparkle, if you can see it. A little bit of sparkly on those edges, the fringes of the fabric here. And this here is vintage place that I got from Stephanie at Vintage Journal Studio. And she was so kind to send me some. I appreciate it. Thank you, Stephanie. So here in the first pocket, we do have a little envelope that maybe came in the mail for Black Beauty, or maybe he sent it off. There's a picture of him as well from a book cover. There are, of course, many book covers, as the book has been printed many, many times over. And inside here, we have a mother and a colt as well on this playing card. And a tag with a little bit of journaling spot and a picture tucked behind it where Black Beauty was born, in this beautiful field and a little house where he spent his first year or so and certainly enjoyed it. It was a beautiful place. On the back, of course, you can write on it. And I have this little tiny booklet. It is a notebook that you can also jot some messages into. It does have a little bit of writing about the heels, and then in the middle it does give you a little bit about cracked heels and what to use, such as sweet oil, borax, sugar of lead, and mix that together, and maybe you'll have a little bit softer heels. I'll have to try that sometimes. In the back, a little bit of writing as well. So that just goes back in. We have another tag. Again, this is not Black Beauty himself, but it is from a painting from the 1800s that I got from the internet, and just put it on a Tim Holtz paper, just for writing in the back a little bit. And then here we have a pullout of, it is of another horse, but very much so possibly the way Black Beauty was born in the field with his mother and the colt lying there waiting to get up on its feet. And it's just a haunting image, actually, of how this happens in nature without much fuss or any medical intervention or all those things that we are used to when we are having babies. Of course, this is how it happens in nature, and very simple. So very this one is about horses as well. Looks like mothers and their colts. It is from the Encyclopedia of Knowledge, and back from the 30s, so it is the original as well. So lots of original ephemera in this journal, most of them from my books that I have. Here I did some stamping, flowers and lines, and this is tracing paper. So just more journaling spots in the back where the owner of this journal can write her thoughts about Black Beauty. Of a painting from 1800s as well, of a horse in field, and just maybe that's how Black Beauty was spending his time. Here's the next page from the original book. So it does fold out, this beautiful family of horses here, and it continues the story in the hunt. And here's a tag with a little bit of writing paper here, sewing all over, lots of sewing all over the journal. Here's an excerpt of the beginning of the story, and inside here we have another tiny journal, again with a little tiny title page of another book. It is a little folder where I did some stamping on this little page, and inside, well, you would have to get your magnifying glass or glasses. You can see also the mare is said to be with foal 11 months. That's quite a long time. I can't imagine being, with baby for 11 months, but I guess that's happens. And then here is an eye. You can see it, an eye of a horse. And it's just a little booklet to look at. And on the back as well, Black Beauty. So that goes back in this little envelope here. And then over here that I have clipped, here we do have a charm of a key. And then over here is maybe an envelope or a letter that Black Beauty sent off, because as we know he can write, and he did write his stories, so he's maybe writing some letters and so on. And here's here he is, Black Beauty with Joe Green. Joe Green was a stable boy, a very young boy, who came to take care of Black Beauty for its owner, and they have both taken to each other and remembered each other throughout their lives afterwards. So this is coffee dyed paper, of course, and looks quite beautifully aged. So that will go back here. Here I did some sewing on this little page, 4 lines, and then I did some painting as well. Maybe I thought horse's hoofs or something, just reminded me of that. And then here we have a lace pocket with a little sparkly tab on here. This beautiful lace was a tablecloth, and it just fit quite right into this journal. And inside here is a journaling card with some lines on the back, but also did a lot of sewing on this one. It does have one of these wreaths that my mother makes, as I mentioned, and a 1968 journal or ledger page that I have this whole ledger written out, and I use it on occasion. Very beautiful old paper. And some painting I did again that just reminded me of the hide of Black Beauty. And here's a page from possibly the original book, and some fabric on the bottom as well. So in the middle of each signature is a page from a book that I have about Black Beauty. I happen to have this one, and I did scan it, but I will give the original to the owner of the journal as well as a gift with the journal. So I did scan the pages, some of them anyways, and put them in the middle along with these beautiful beads in each middle, and lots of tabs on the top. So it does tell the story a little bit about how the horse was with its first owners and so on. So here is the back of that beautiful lace pocket, and another tag, Black Beauty. And it does have a horse here, a general horse, but any of these beautiful sketches or paintings do have my interest, so I did use them all over the book. Now here is, first of all, a writing card, and this long strand of Black Beauty's mane. And here is a foal, a young foal, just getting on its legs, maybe for the first time. It looks very young. So it is an original book page from another book that I had about horses, and about the mother and the foal as he first starts to get around, and how he sees the world for the first time. So this is a beautiful page from that book. This here is actual wallpaper sample. It doesn't seem to actually have the glue on it, so it is just the sample part itself on paper, and very beautiful and shiny. I left this one as it is. I do have fabric ruffled on top here, and then I also have some more beads on the side as well. So this is the other side of the tag that's built in of sorts, and this beautiful bluish cabbage dyed paper. So here's another page from that book I have, and then it shows more about the hunt section, I believe, of that story. And here's this beautiful little bunny. He's quite cute. And some more stamping here of roses and so on in here. And then here is a painting from 1800s, beautiful black horse. I'm not sure if this is actually Black Beauty, but it just looks so beautiful. I have to include it here. So, and here is another page from that book. So there's quite a few of these original pages. which I hope will add to the book and have the owner reading the excerpts and so on. So this is a beautiful picture. Actually, I believe that's what I scanned in the front into here of the mother and her colt here. Very loving look towards each other. And I'm sure once they leave the mother, they miss her very much. And here is just a little bit more of journaling cards of the meadow where Black Beauty first spent his days, and in a beautiful stable as well. And here's a bead on top of here. So this is the first signature here, the end of that. And we have a little envelope here with a beautiful stamp, horse stamp on it. Very pretty. And inside it we have some paper. You can journal on the back here. Just stamp some butterflies on it. And inside is a little excerpt again, a little bit of the story. And that goes in here. And if you just turn it around, it's got this beautiful pink flowers on there. And as we know, the horses might be munching on these flowers, but just also a little bit to look at. And inside as well, we just have some journaling paper, index cards. So that's for when Black Beauty wants to write some more. He's got more paper there. Over here we have, let me show you a little bit closer. It is a charm of the riding saddle. If you can see it, there we go. And this beautiful scrapbook paper. It does say here, family. I did leave it empty so that the owner can fill it up, but I did add this beautiful horse with a little bit of a poem on the back or quotes from the author of Black Beauty. And I did sew on some fringes here to make it look like possibly a little bit of the mane on there. This beautiful back ribbon over here. And here is half and half, a little bit of the writing and a little bit of empty space. And on the back is fabric. And here's a bit more of the story. So the story goes on about the earlier days. Now here is a page with this beautiful fabric pocket. It does have like a flip up of the fabric and some of this beautiful green sari scarf in here as well. And I guess where there's horses, there are flies. I don't know, I happen to have this on my desk and I just kind of thought, okay, let me put that in. The flies, well, of course, they come with the territory. So over here is a notebook with this beautiful sample wallpaper piece, and then some ledger paper and so on. And in the back is another cover from an older book. And here's a beautiful picture. It was in I believe in a calendar with two horses just, well, having a kiss, I think. And some more fabric on top here that I sewed on. And look at this beautiful color. I love these colors. Anything that is in kind of pinkish or coral colors. I do love anything like that. So here we have some more of the index cards for writing. And here is a tag also with this beautiful fabric. Very soft, very delicate. And on the back as well. So I just left it hanging as it was. And on this beautiful scrapbook paper also of horses galloping along. And in the back I just stamped some lines and a rose as well. So some of the fabric that just falls any which way, really I left it because why not just leave it natural, right? And over here, just some beautifully coffee dyed paper. And this is from a book about horses. It's quite a thick book. It's an encyclopedia of sorts. And it's got some beautiful images of horses there as well. So let me show you a little bit more close. This one. There. And another tag with these beautiful woods with a mist falling over them and some of my paper on top. And some stamping in the back. And this is more of that wallpaper. I have a few different kinds that I lucked out on to get. This is the journaling spot. More of that lace and with red trim. And here red and black. And here is, in the middle is from the story where there was a fire. And lucky for Black Beauty, Joe Green did go in and bring the horse out so that saved his life in a way from the fire and a few other horses as well. So there's beads here, tabs on the top, and the back of, look at this beautiful flower here. And here's another little folder with Black Beauty cover and some of the trim that I put in and more of my painting. And then on the back as well, lots of details. Inside, we have an old letter that I have a whole box full of old letters of different kinds. Some of them, well, some of them quite a bit about love. So two lovers did have back and forth communication in letters. This one is from Jack. And, well, it is legible a little bit, so the owner can go through this and see what's going on. And then a little bit also about horses, about scratches, and cracked heels again. Apparently I was in that section about the heels. So that will go in here. This beautiful image of horses here as well, from the book of horses. And these beautiful images and more of that beautifully coffee dyed paper. And yes, this is a ribbon that I sewed on, and here's a little bird charm as well. And then this might be the original cover of Black Beauty, put on paper and a little tab on top. So I know that there is quite a few of these older books in circulation as well, if you can find it, if you're lucky enough. And here I did leave an empty pocket with some paper ruffle and so on, and just a little page that I made for something different. It's got down here Black Beauty, Merry Legs, horses. Here's the other fly on the other side of that page, and that fabric pocket here. Also, this was from fabric samples that I lucked out over here as well. We have towards the end section of that book that I have with horses. Oh, actually not horses, but with Black Beauty, with the Black Beauty story in his early years. So this is quite a beautiful one right here. And so we're coming to the end of the second section. And here's Joe Green again. And Black Beauty, they are bonding here, and there's some of the mane on there. A bead over here, and the back of that beautiful forest that is on this paper, scrapbook paper, and just a little bit of fabric of the horse here, and a journaling spot. Okay, so here we are in the third signature, and we do have a little horseshoe charm on this one, and another little booklet, and this beautiful scrapbook paper lined with ribbons, and a little bit of the story, and this is, I believe, some tracing paper and some fabric, and on the back I did do some stamping. So this one has a journaling card with some fabric and another Black Beauty cover. And some of that blue paper in the back. And a little notebook here, which is on like an index card with some fabric here and some pages to write on. So just a little booklet. In this section, the story does continue from the other side there. And here we have, so Black Beauty was sold now, and he's gone on to live with different people. And at one point, he has become a workhorse and has to do some really heavy pulling a wagon, some heavy work. This one, I did find some horses that are, I guess, working horses. So that kind of depicts that part of his life with some fabric on here and just different tidbits that I like to include on many items. And so here's that scrapbook paper with the horses, and we do have this ribbon here. It is from twine, but almost looks like a bit of a fence or so. In the back, I did some stamping with roses, and there's a little quote here from the author. Over here, I found some beautiful horses in a calendar. It does have a black horse. Looks like during winter, and of course they are feeding on something and in the snow, but still very beautiful. On the back, it does have lines, and you can write on it. And here is another piece of those wallpaper samples. So this one does have a little bit of a different raised effect on it. Very pretty. Here's a little bead. This beautiful ruffled fabric, dimpled, or I'm not sure what you want to call it. And here's another pocket. And here's a horse and a little bit about horses. And underneath is some writing paper for journaling of all kinds. And over here is a little pocket also from the wallpaper sample. And we have a little bit of a horse here from painting, and in the back as well, another painting from the 1800s. And over here, it is does have a little flower on each side, and it is stamped love, of course, because we love horses. And another little book cover, and just a piece of paper to write on. As you know, I love little bits of paper. Why? I don't know. I just love paper, and a little bit of a stamp on it. So those who love paper, you know, you'll understand about every little piece of paper counts, and it could be used somewhere. Another book cover, because there's dozens and dozens of book covers, and a little more of that paper. So just a tiny little booklet, and you can take those out or put something else in, really, if you don't need that. And the back of that has a little bit of the story and so on, some fabric here. Over here, this is tracing paper. So I will say I traced this horse. I did not draw this horse myself. However, I did do the shading myself. And it's much more difficult than I thought it would be. Even just the tracing of the horse, not so easy. And on the back here, I did as well a head. So this is a pencil sketch that I mostly traced from a book. And then some beautifully coffee-dyed ledger paper. And here's a horse from a painting with some fabric and a little bit of, it says strong, beautiful on it. So some words about horses and the way we might see them. And then here's a little bit of a stamped page, and as well, also, let me see if I can show you another stamp. So these postage stamps are authentic with horses that I found quite a few of them, and I did have them in a little Ziploc bag, and I thought this would be just the perfect time to use them. And this also is a part of an envelope, authentic, also from 1970. From those stack of letters that I have that I found not long ago. So here's getting to the middle again with that beautiful lace fabric. And also I found this envelope that has horses pulling a wagon. So this is in a section where, if you recall, Black Beauty is a working horse. So It is just a plain envelope. However, it does have this beautiful horse image in here, so I just included that. And so in the middle here, there is Black Beauty. He is working, pulling a wagon, doing some heavy work. He's getting older now, and it's getting harder for him. So here we have those beads, the black, green and black, very pretty. And some tabs on top, those polka dot ones. And just some writing paper here for whenever the Black Beauty wants to write a letter or write more of his autobiography. And just a little charm here. And then over here is a tag. I was going to pick it up, but it is sewn on actually, with another cover, an older one, and some lines here and some more of my painting and some fabric on top. So I like to throw these things together. For me, I mean, that's for somebody, I don't know, it might be just a piece of nothing, but to me it's a piece of art putting these together. But there is thought in it as far as which sides to put it on and what colors to put together and so on. And over here I have this beautiful image of shabby chic, I suppose, image in one of those little booklets that I found with a horse and some of the different images and colors on backed onto a doily, and then stamped over with lines, and came out really beautifully. If you want to see, if you can see all the different textures on here, and with those little fringes that I got when I got a bunch of them when I got the samples, fabric samples, a few weeks ago, and some more of the ledger paper. So as I was saying before, my phone died, and I had to go get my husband's phone to finish this up. So here's the two behinds of horses that I traced, and then I shaded it in with their beautiful manes blowing in the wind. Always beautiful to look at. And you know, with their horses also there are butterflies and flowers in the meadow. And here's a beautiful image of a hoof and a little bit of information about it. And collage and pocket here, a large one for the owner to put her collections in, and a pocket here as well. So double pocket in this page. And a little bit of writing about horses, a tab, and another collage with another pocket here. So I did leave a few empty, as I said, because this is supposed to be for a Black Beauty collection. So here we also have some beads on this one, and this beautiful black ribbon or fabric. And in the back here we do have, this is from Edith Holden, The Working Horses in a Field, and beautiful page, and some more writing paper in the back. So there's quite a bit of notebooks and so on. So here is that beautiful wallpaper sample. It just gets paper clipped on here. And so this is the end of the third signature, and it has a little envelope here in this beautiful pocket with this very pretty, kind of reminded me maybe of a horse's blanket or something. And another real postage stamp with horses on it. And I just stamped this up to make it look like a letter that Black Beauty had received or was sending out. Maybe it was sending out because it's got his address here and BB initials, of course, Black Beauty. Let's see what he might be keeping in here. Well, he does have his footprints, so to speak, the hoofs print on here that I painted, and then you can write on the back. And then there's a painting from the 1800s of a working horse, and so maybe this is a picture that somebody took of Black Beauty and he's kept it. And this is of a stable where he might be living now. But all his life he has thought about Joe and has pined to see Joe again and be with him again. So he has written a couple of letters to Joe. This one says, "Dear Joe, I cannot tell you how much I miss you. I wish that one day soon I will see you again, Black Beauty." So of course, maybe he doesn't know it yet, but he will see Joe again. So even horses, I think what the author was trying to convey, have feelings. Animals have feelings, and they should be treated as such. And maybe in some cases, humans don't treat animals quite the way they should. So there's a moral in that story about humanity and so on. Now in the last signature here, well, there's a bead here, and I did luck out. I saw a friend of mine not long ago, and she just out of the blue happened to bring me this little envelope. She said she found this in a book from 1956 that she had, and well, she wanted to go to a good cause, and she knew I was making journals, and she brought it over to me, not knowing that I was doing Black Beauty. But of course, this particular envelope contained, it is from the Book of Knowledge Annual, first of all, and it contained an ad for Black Beauty. So what is, how is that a coincidence? I don't know. Is it one or not? How does she know? I don't know. But it happened to be an ad for Black Beauty, and if you wanted to buy it, and children's other children's classics. And so here's, this is all authentic ephemera. So there's a write-up about Black Beauty and some other books as well, and as well a little catalog that includes Black Beauty right there, Treasure Island, and some other fairy tales and so on. So this is an authentic item from 1956 that I couldn't believe that my friend brought to me at this time when I was making the Black Beauty journal. And here's some more writing paper for Black Beauty, as we know, when he feels like writing, and a belly band with this beautiful crochet wreath from my mom. And inside this little folder is more writing opportunities, a little bit from the story, and it actually happens to say about they came into our field to pluck blackberries. Well, so I happen to have this, and I put that on there. And then here's a little bit of different things, little horse's head in the back to write on, a little bit about blacksmith there, and then some more stationery with roses on it, and a little writing piece of paper. It's blank on the inside and the outside. I like to stamp this, I don't know, this printed thing, the stamp that I have. So a whole little folder to write in. And this is from Tim Holtz paper with envelopes throughout. And on this side is another bit from the story, from the actual Black Beauty book. And then here's just about horses in general. And a beautiful pocket here from the ledger paper, and that blue cabbage leaf dyed paper. And a little bit of paintings from the 1800s, more areas to write on, and this very pretty black and beige fabric and ribbon, and a little bit of a flower and rhinestone on there. And over here is a plastic pocket that includes, I won't take it all out right now, but it does include like a rope, a piece of rope, maybe like a lasso, and then a bit of a leaf, and maybe from a blanket. So some items that maybe Black Beauty is holding nearby, or somebody is looking after at the moment of a horse or so. So a little bit of something a little bit different. And then fabric over here, place to write on from the horse book. And here's some, well, I don't know if these are bow-legged legs, but I guess it shows what are the right way to stand, or what are the best legs in town. Anyhow, there's a tag on here with more quote from the author and some more writing spaces. Here's another notebook and a little bit over here, and more painting. Here's a whole collage of little horse items and stuff. And it in this pocket, it does hold this beautiful, it is like a blank greeting card, but just these beautiful horses in the field. And there is a black horse, just like Black Beauty. But as we know, Black Beauty has a star on his forehead. Anyhow, beautiful field with a fence and trees. Here's a butterfly, a beautiful, rather large butterfly charm, and a tag here where Black Beauty wishes to be back again in this field from the beginning of the story. And Tim Holtz scrap of paper. So he is hoping and wishing to go back to the life he once had when he was young. And of course, as we know, he does. He does come into the beautiful field to be free and back with Joe, which is all he ever wanted. Some beads over here and some tabs on the top. Lots and lots of tabs. And here's a painting of a field that he's been dreaming of, and where, of course, he's now running around. Ledger paper. And this, he does keep a picture of him. This is not Black Beauty, however, it is from the Book of Knowledge of a working horse. So he does have a picture of his old days, just for the sake of remembering where he's been. And just some more writing paper. And this is something that I just sewn these lines on and added some of my flower on here and on this back as well. And over here is this beautiful cabbage leaf stained paper with the ledger pocket. And then here's something that says personal. It is from Black Beauty. So this is something he kept. I did stamp a key on it. And so it's just various papers that maybe he kept for some reason when he's going to do some more writing, or he wished that he might, but he's getting too old for it. So just some writing paper here that he wanted to keep for himself to make sure he has it. And on the back it says do not open. So let's see what he's keeping here. Well, this is his own personal thing. So this is a picture of what might be Joe Green in the field, where he seems to be maybe pining for Black Beauty as well. And this is Black Beauty again in his younger days when he was a colt with his mother. This is a painting, not actual Black Beauty, but it just depicts that so much. And this is maybe the farm where he originally was with Joe in his younger days that he's still pining for. And then inside here, if I can even get it out, is a tiny letter. Why so tiny? I'm not sure, but I just made it like that. And inside here, he has a secret note, and it is a tiny little letter to Joe, where he says, if you read this, it means I'm gone, but I hope you'll remember me. I will always remember you. Love, BB. So now Black Beauty says, this is in my own words, however, let's say Black Beauty wrote this and said, I will always remember you, even though he's gone. I don't know, I was thinking about that. What happens, once we're gone? Do we remember actual things that happened? Of course, our brain probably just shuts off and like a computer, and we don't know anything else. But I just like the way that was said. So in the back we have some hoofs of different kinds, I guess, that might be used on horses. And this is, I believe, from a calendar. This beautiful meadow where Black Beauty has spent his last days. And it just might as well be Black Beauty. It just looks so beautiful. and serene. Maybe perhaps that's where he is now, in heaven, and having a good time. Let's just think of it that way. Okay, so in the end, there is a bit of a notebook here in a pocket. I do have a booklet at the back, and of course this beautiful paper, and I did put my name and the date I completed it, April 15th, 2018. And I have a little booklet here, which is the same picture as the cover, and Black Beauty. And so it is the beginning of the story in just a few words and pages that I stamped up. So it is a tiny booklet at the end with Black Beauty leading the pack in his younger days. Of course, that is how we want to remember him. So this is the end of this journal, and I will need to pack it up if I can find a box big enough, because it is a rather large journal. As I mentioned, my first custom order, so I did kind of have a lot of fun with that. And let's see if we can actually close it. There we go. So this is Black Beauty. It does have 160 pages, 4 signatures, very large journal. I appreciate you coming by to see it, and hopefully you had fun looking at it with me. And I hope you will come back again sometimes. So Black Beauty, bye-bye for now.